This is Mac OS Ken.
Excitement ramps up for WWDC, surprising numbers for iPhone in China, and killing time virtually working. It is Wednesday, the 29th of May, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. We now know for certain when WWDC 24 will kick off. Engadget was among a number of sites that had Apple making the start time for the Monday, the 10th of June Keynote official. As expected, someone at Apple's Big Round headquarters will be pushing play on the world's most important video cassette player at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, as God intended. No one lets loose at 7 a.m. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't just tech sites sending out the people get ready. A piece from 9 to 5 Mac says Apple updated its developer app with a number of get-ready tips. Those included adding the Keynote to their calendar, adding the platform State of the Union to their calendar. That is at 1 p.m. Pacific on the 10th. Taking a look at the WWDC sessions, subscribing to Apple's YouTube channel, and that list goes on. Now, while children's television may have told us that we were all winners, we're grown-ups now, and I don't want to break it to you anyway. A piece from Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has announced the finalists for its annual design awards across 7 categories. According to Apple, finalists in the Delight and Fun category provide memorable, engaging, and satisfying experiences enhanced by Apple technologies. Inclusivity finalists provide a great experience for all by supporting people from a diversity of backgrounds, abilities, and languages. Finalists in the category Innovation provide a state-of-the-art experience through novel use of Apple's technologies that set them apart in their genre. Interaction finalists deliver intuitive interfaces and effortless controls that are perfectly tailored to their platform. Social impact finalists improve lives in a meaningful way and shine a light on crucial issues. Visuals and graphics finalists feature stunning imagery, skillfully drawn interfaces, and high-quality animations that lend to a distinctive and cohesive theme. And finally, there is a brand new category this year. Apple says finalists in the Spatial Computing category brought extraordinary craftsmanship to their exceptional spatial experiences. You can see the full list of nominees either at Apple Insider or on Apple's developer site, developer.apple.com. Award recipients will be announced during WWDC. I would say winners will be announced, but we are all winners. Outside of developers, outside of Apple fans, and outside of general tech nerds, the interest in WWDC this year centers on whatever artificial intelligence Apple is going to announce. While many say the AI race has blown past the Cupertino company, Creative Strategies principal analyst Carolina Milanesi seems to see Apple running a different race. Business Insider outlined comments and thoughts from Milanesi, starting with times in the past that Apple was, quote, late, unquote, to a given market. There were smartphones before iPhone, tablets before iPad, wearables before Apple Watch. The piece doesn't mention MP3 players before iPod, but it certainly could. Milanesi seems to expect AI to play out in a similar way, though not exactly the same. iPod came in and did what other MP3 players did. See also iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch. Where AI is concerned, Milanesi doesn't expect Apple to try to beat or even be one of today's big AI players. As she puts it, the way Apple is going to leverage AI and how they're going to bring value back to their business is going to be very different from the way that Google and Microsoft and Amazon Web Services do it. For those companies, it's all about the cloud, running the LLMs in the cloud, and monetizing from that. The Business Insider piece has Milanesi indicating that it will be critical for Apple to show how it will continue to add value to its existing ecosystem of products and services by integrating artificial intelligence. iPhone news on Tuesday that almost nobody seemed to see coming. Bloomberg has April numbers from the China Academy of Information and Communications Technology showing smartphone sales in that country up last month, with iPhone sales way the heck up. According to the report, sales of foreign smartphones were up 52% in April of 2024 versus April of 2023. While not all of those will have been iPhones, that tends to be how the Academy's foreign phone numbers are read. According to Bloomberg, the iPhone accounts for the vast majority of such devices, and its bounce back comes after it registered growth in March, following steep declines in the first 2 months of this year. I say almost nobody seemed to see this coming. Props to Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives. I told you yesterday of his assertion that iPhone sales in China were up last month. According to his note on that, outperforming during April was perhaps helped by inventory build ahead of China's holidays in May and June. And he is not alone in that thinking. IDC analyst Will Wong is quoted in Tuesday's Bloomberg piece saying Apple was preparing for the 618 online shopping festival, which we could see from its recent price discounts. Now, it's not often we hear of Apple's pricing moves applying pressure to competitors, and yet analysts at Jefferies say that is what is happening with the iPhone in China. The site investing.com has the firm indicating that serious iPhone 15 discounts headed into this year's 618 shopping holiday are putting a hurt on Android and Huawei. According to the analysts, offline discounts for the iPhone 15 line have gone as high as 10% in some areas. A Jefferies note says those discounts have put the prices of iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max much closer to those of the top end of Android and Huawei flagship models. In fact, the analysts say Huawei's top-end phones are being offered at no discount, making the discounted iPhone 15 Pros less expensive than the high-end Huawei models. Jefferies has a buy rating on Apple shares. The firm's price target on the shares is $205. Analysts at Jefferies contend that the discounts mentioned are likely the only way for Apple to defend its iPhone market share in China. Whatever the case, things seem to be working in China for iPhone now. Earlier this month, says the earlier report from Bloomberg, a Bloomberg intelligence poll of consumers in China showed the iPhone returning as the most favored mobile device and an uptick in interest in upgrading to new devices. That piece had analysts Stephen Tseng and Sean Chen writing that iPhone's shrinking China market share could stabilize soon, as their latest survey shows Apple's comeback as Chinese consumers' favorite smartphone brand after being displaced by Huawei. Reacting to the iPhone numbers out of China were JP Morgan analysts Samik Chatterjee and Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani. Apple 3.0 ran parts of notes they both wrote. While Mr. Chatterjee was glad to see support for iPhone, he thinks it had less to do with that device specifically than it did recovery for China's smartphone market as a whole. Nevertheless, wrote the analyst, we see recent data points as more supportive of lower downside risk to current iPhone volume shipments for the year and providing a higher launch pad in terms of volumes than earlier expected as Apple heads into a crucial period of the AI upgrade cycle. Mr. Chatterjee has an overweight rating on Apple shares. He has set JP Morgan's price target on the shares at $225. As for Mr. Daryanani, his note was conscious of the discounts Apple's been adding, subtracting, the pricing thing. Thing is, though, he doesn't see those deals as that big a deal. Quoting his note, Apple has also reportedly leveraged discounting via third parties to help maintain share in China, but these appear to be relatively limited in scope, available for about 1 week of the quarter in February and May, and it is unclear how much of the discount is being offered by Apple versus third parties. Wrapping his note, Mr. Darianani wrote, China iPhone market looks to be holding up much better than feared. If China continues to hold up relatively flat, we think emerging markets plus the AI supercycle could result in solid growth for iPhone in fiscal year 25 and beyond. Mr. Darianani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. Evercore's price target on the shares is $220. And finally today, I'm not a video gamer. I'd like to be. I want to be. I've owned a PlayStation 2, an Xbox 360, and an Xbox One. I love the idea of video games, but I always end up doing something else with my time, like writing letters or restoring fountain pens or making books by hand. That's my latest thing. Anyway, those are things that I do when I'm, not working. So imagine my surprise at the excitement generated by a new game for Apple Vision Pro, Job Simulator. It's a virtual reality game that lets players simulate working at jobs, which I thought we were trying to avoid with virtual reality. I'm underselling it. According to the game's Wikipedia entry, players participate in comical approximations of real-world jobs. Set in the future, players are actually in a job museum run by robots resembling floating CRT computer monitors with faces. The jobs are represented as tongue-in-cheek approximations of real occupations: auto mechanic, gourmet chef, store clerk, and office worker. And it occurs to me I really shouldn't make fun. I did used to spend hours at a time playing The Sims, which, if you think about it, is really questionable. Don't bother me, real life. I'm pretending to have a life. Anyway, Job Simulator has been a thing since 2016. Its sequel, Vacation Simulator, has been a thing since 2019. As of this week, a piece from Upload VR says they are both available for Apple Vision Pro. Both titles fully support hand tracking, according to the report. You kind of have to be on Apple's headset, but the functionality for Job Simulator has made its way to Quest devices as well. That is a first for that title, though Vacation Simulator has supported hand tracking since 2020. The way Upload VR sees it, it is a big day for the game's publisher, Google subsidiary Alchemy, a big day for Apple's platform, and a date to mark in VR history. Job Simulator will run buyers $19.99. Vacation Simulator is $29.99. Both are available now through the Vision OS App Store. macOS Can, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways: info@macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.